Today we continue our special Child Month edition of your Jamaica Magazine with a never-before-seen feature on touch tours. If you stick around, you'll get to see just how the National Museum Jamaica is engaging visually impaired students through touch. This and so much more after the break. I'm Sandra Clark. I'll be right back.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Friday, May 24. The Planning Institute of Jamaica, PIOJ, is reporting an estimated 1.5% growth in the economy for the January to March 2019 quarter when compared to the corresponding period last year. The PIOJ says a higher growth of up to 2% is projected for the April to June quarter.
The preliminary data presented on performance of the January to March 2019 quarter indicate that the economy has continued to strengthen, recording the 17th consecutive quarter of growth. This outturn, if it materializes, would bring the GDP growth rate for fiscal year 2018-19 to 1.9%, the strongest fiscal year growth since fiscal year 2006-7.
Dr. Henry was speaking at the PIOJ's quarterly media briefing on Wednesday. The PIOJ Director General says growth for the first quarter resulted from an estimated 1.8% increase in the goods-producing industry and 1.5% growth in services.
The positive outturn for the January to March 2019 period largely reflected the impact of 1. Increased external demand from Jamaica's main trading partners, 2. Increased domestic demand pushed by an increase in employment, as well as business and consumer confidence.
Growth was also spurred by higher capacity utilization, particularly in mining and quarrying, an uptick in loans, and advances to the private sector, as well as major infrastructure works. Cabinet has approved a submission for the divestment of the Jamaica Mortgage Bank. The bank supports secondary mortgage financing and real estate development. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says divestment modalities are being worked out and will be declared shortly. The Jamaica Mortgage Bank is one of several government entities being prepared for divestment. Others include the Central Wastewater Company and the state's shares in the Jamaica Public Service Company.
What we are trying to do now is to socialize wealth. We're trying to ensure that the average Jamaican benefits from the good decision making that creates wealth and be a part of that process.
Prime Minister Holness was speaking at Wednesday's listing of Wigton Wind Farm Limited on the main market of the Jamaica Stock Exchange. 31,200 Jamaicans have put in bids to take up the company's 11 billion shares at 50 cents per share. The initial public offer was oversubscribed, generating $14 billion. Government will not appeal the constitutional ruling of the National Identification System NIDS ACT. The administration is, however, working on a new NIDS bill, which will be ready for the opening of Parliament in September. Justice Minister Delroy Chuck says the legislation will be examined by a joint select committee of Parliament in October.
We consider it very important that we should proceed as quickly as possible to have a NIDS bill. And instructions have been issued to all the various units, including the Legal Reform Unit of the Ministry of Justice, the NIDS Secretariat, the Attorney General's Chambers, and in particular to our new Chief Parliamentary Counsel, Ms. Judith Grant, who is here, that focus must be placed on formulating a new NIDS bill as quickly as possible.
Minister Chuck made the disclosure during his post-sectoral press briefing on Wednesday. NIDS is being established to provide a reliable database for all Jamaicans and will provide a unique national identification number for each citizen. Over 100 Jamaicans were sent off to Canada Tuesday under the Seasonal Agricultural Work Program. 11 of them are first-time participants of the program, while the remaining 102 are returnees. Labor and Social Security Minister Shahini Robinson has encouraged the farm workers to do well and keep in touch with their families, especially their children back home.
You will need to maintain the lines of communication and be sure to provide the financial and emotional support which I am certain they will need in your absence. Gentlemen, be good ambassadors and keep the Jamaica flag flying high.
Minister Robinson also assured the workers that the administration, with the support of the Canadian government, would ensure their safety and well-being.
We seek to guarantee at all times that the labour standards governing employment on these farms are enforced. Most importantly, we take into consideration the safety and well-being of our farm workers.
Among yesterday's many Labor Day activities, the busy Rose Hall Main Road in Montego Bay was outfitted with a crosswalk signal. Minister of Tourism Edmund Bartlett says it reflects government's commitment to a safe road environment, particularly for children.
Safety for us is not just a word. Safety has to become a practice based on a series of activities, a series of information that you must have, a series of ideas and ideals that you must internalize, and a series of actions that you must ensure takes place thereafter.
The 2019 Labor Day volunteers in St. James also installed 25 traffic signs. Other works included paving of the sidewalk leading to the Barretttown All-Age School, as well as finishing touches to the adjacent basic school. The work was carried out in partnership with the Jamaica Social Investment Fund under its Safe Passage project.
Long before this Labor Day theme, we made a decision to invest $56 million in 16 schools in 8 communities to do the type of work that nationally is happening today at schools across the country.
And finally, the Kingston and St Municipal Corporation carried out extensive work along Spanish Town Road yesterday. Shelley Ann Thompson has the details.
If you traverse the busy Spanish Town Road to get to work or school, when you get to the vicinity of Seaview Gardens and Waterhouse, you will notice a major beautification took place on Labor Day.
We decided that as part of our Labor Day efforts, we're going to be doing multiple points.
This is a play field that is used every year for the six-a-side competition that take place in the community. Now, part of the thing with the fencing is a good venture. Why? When the youth them play on the field, the ball normally sometimes go out in the traffic, sometimes you have motorists trying to swerve out of the ball, sometimes you have youths running out in traffic trying to catch the ball. So for one, that's a safety issue. Just in general, the area needs upgrading.
And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
Sign with me.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Sign with me.
As mentioned earlier, the National Museum Jamaica has created a new program that is geared towards including and engaging students who are blind. To learn more, turn your eyes to our next feature.
When I was a tour guide here at the Institute of Jamaica, you'll have, visitors just coming into our museum space, whether it's a teacher, a parent, even tertiary students. They would come in and they would say, what kind of programs do you have for someone who is blind? Because I have a sister or a brother who is blind, and I didn't have an answer for them. As time went on, I started thinking about, there must be something that I can do to create a program that would impact that kind of disability. So I said, well, if they can't see, they can definitely learn in a tactile way.
Stephanie's idea flourished. In 2016, she launched Touch Tours at the National Museum Jamaica in collaboration with my school, the Salvation Army School for the Blind. Come, let me show you what Touch Tours are all about. I have my most favorite piece throughout all my exploration. I have
very good.
Pewter flagon.
Very good. Very
it's
good.
Smooth. It's like a thermos, and it has an opener.
Very good.
And it inside it they put wine and other stuff.
Very good.
So, just in case you are wondering, these guided touch tours are free of cost. The tours aim to engage students like me who are blind, visually impaired, or have developmental or cognitive disabilities. Here's more.
We do it in small numbers, no more than 6 to 10 students at a time. And so what we do, we set up an area, we set up a table, and we select an artifact that is related to a particular theme. So let's say we want them to learn about the Taino people or the Africans or the Chinese. We would select those artifacts. We allow them to come into that area that is set up for the touch tours. Go, Sarah.
It has a little smooth texture, and it's bumpy. It doesn't have like smooth, and it will be straight and flat.
Right.
It's bumpy. And it's kind of straight, but it has a little curve.
Yes.
And they have a little hole inside.
And do you remember where that piece came from? We talked about it. Do you remember from which animal it came from?
The elephant.
The elephant, the tusk, and it's called what? Ivory. Ivory, very good. And so we engage them, we talk to them, we allow them to engage with the artifact. They, stretch their hands out, and we ask them, to feel what is in front of them, and we ask them questions like, what do you think this is? We want them to engage with the artifact in exploring different shapes, different textures, how it feels, different weight, and so on, to ignite their metaphorical thinking. And that is what Touch Tours is really all about. What are you holding, Deidre?
A baby doll.
Very good. Tell us the story behind that. You remember what I said?
When they have a twin and one of them died, they made this to represent it.
Very good.
As you can see, just like any other guided tours for students, we get to learn about the wide range of artifacts at the museum through touch.
The National Museum is the repository of Jamaica's cultural heritage. So we house over 17,000 artifacts representing our tangible cultural heritage. Some of the permanent exhibitions we have at the National Museum Jamaica, we have Ubuntu, Taino, and Treasures, Mysteries and Stories.
This exhibition space name is Ubuntu. What's the name? Ubuntu. Now we're all speaking Zulu.
Ubuntu reflects our African heritage. We have artifacts representing the Yoruba tribe, the Ashanti tribe, we have Ibeji dolls, all fun stuff. As you can see behind us, we have some masks from various regions in Africa. Taino is basically reflecting the Taino heritage that we have here, the Taino culture. So all things Taino you can find in the Taino exhibition. Treasures, Mysteries and Stories is our newest exhibition space. Treasures because our artifacts are our national treasures. Mysteries because some of our artifacts we don't have a story behind them of how we acquired them or a background story. And then some of them we have a full story as to how we acquired them and the nature surrounding those particular artifacts, where they're from, who used it before, detailed information about it. So that is what Treasures, Mysteries and Stories is about.
To learn more about touch tours and the interesting artifacts, just call the National Museum Jamaica. It is open to the public Mondays to Fridays from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. See you soon!
The Disabilities Act will protect the rights of all persons with disabilities. And here's a great teaching moment. Every person with a disability, like a deaf or hard of hearing child, for example, has the right to an education with accessible facilities and the support they need. In this case, it would be a teacher who can use the language of the deaf, which is sign language. Visit jcpdja.com. A message from the JCPD, an agency of the Ministry of Labor and Social Security.
Now, let's take a break from learning about how we can engage and address persons who have disabilities and turn our attention to an important commodity in our society, water. It is an essential part of everyday life. It is also an important ingredient to the success of production in the farming sector. That's why government has invested heavily in drip irrigation projects for farming communities across the island. Let's see what other initiatives the Industry, Commerce, Agriculture and Fisheries Ministry is pursuing.
The Ministry of Industry, Commerce, Agriculture and Fisheries performance in the 2018-19 fiscal year was exceptional, with 4.2% growth in the sector and a 7.2% contribution to GDP. According to Minister Audley Shaw in his recent sectoral debate presentation, this fiscal year 2019-20 will be no different.
We are on the road to greater prosperity. There ain't no stopping us now, and there will be no turning back. We intend to grow our industries, the agricultural industry, the micro, small and medium-sized businesses, the manufacturing and services sectors.
In the agriculture sector, support is being given to new and emerging industries such as bamboo, cannabis, castor bean and even mangoes.
These products, Mr. Speaker, are part of the vision for a new agro-based industry in a new Jamaica on the road to increased economic growth and job creation.
In bringing this vision to the forefront, Jamaica is set to export its first shipment of mangoes to the United States this May under the Mango Irradiation Program. Minister Shaw says 3 farms have received approval to export, while another 12 are currently being processed.
The ministry will provide assistance by waiving the fees associated with inspection, storage and usage of the plant quarantine produce inspection facilities for the 1-year period, May this year to May of next year. Only approved mango exporters to the USA will be eligible for this waiver at an estimated value of $1 million per exporter for the year.
The Jamaican Castor Oil is aggressively being sought after by overseas markets, so the ministry is establishing the island's first castor bean orchard. 2,000 acres of land have already been identified in Mitchelltown, Clarendon for this project. Farmers in St. Catherine and Clarendon will soon have their irrigation issues attended to under the South Plains Development Project. Irrigation facilities will be expanded on 795 hectares of farmland through a £17.5 million grant from the United Kingdom Caribbean Infrastructure Fund, which is being administered by the Caribbean Development Bank.
The ministry, through the revitalized Trust for Agricultural Production, will provide incentives for small farmers in a number of areas, including Irish potatoes, sweet potatoes, peppers, sweet corn, dasheen, cassava, yams, sorrel, spices, strawberries, pineapples, onions, and other condiments and livestock such as small ruminants.
Government intends to spend $552 million in incentives to grow those special crops.
In terms of our small and medium enterprises, we are working with them in an inclusive way in order to build out the sector. We have the MSME entrepreneurship policy and 5-year implementation plan. We have the Jamaica Business Development Company that is working with us to try to get more work going among our small businesses in a formal and in a practical way.
As part of that, government has initiated a study into the use of dormant banking funds in the country.
If we are able to bring dormant funds down to the world average of 7 years, it will open up billions of dollars that will need to be made available to our small, medium enterprises for loans for business.
At the same time, businesses start benefiting from the Jamaica Trade Information Portal as of May 16. The portal is the first of its kind in the English-speaking Caribbean and will bring export and import-related regulatory information and step-by-step guidance on a single platform.
The Trade Information Portal has a rich database, including standards, procedures, tariff, fees, taxes, levies, and applicable penalties, various authorizations, inspections, and verifications.
Several pieces of legislation will also be undertaken this fiscal year to allow for ease of doing business in Jamaica.
We have a number of important legislation to work on for the new year. The Companies Amendment Act, the Cooperative Societies Act, the Modernization of Intellectual Property legislation, the Trademarks Act and Rules, the Protection of New Plant Varieties Bill, the enactment of the Scrap Metal Act, the National Compliance and Regulatory Authority Act and related legislation, just to name a few. The role of government in engendering growth and prosperity is crystal clear. And so my ministry, under our watch and in collaboration with my colleague ministers, Hutchinson and Green, will continue to create the enabling environment for individuals and businesses to thrive and create wealth for themselves, their families, communities, and their country.
Nutritious food, succulent dishes, superior workmanship, and excellent service. Jamaica is on the go. Let's grow what we eat and eat what we grow. Let's harness the indomitable spirit of our most valued resource, our people. Let's support our local businesses. After all, buying Jamaican means building Jamaica.
We are just a month away from the finals of the FIFA Women's World Cup taking place in France from June 7 to July 7. By now, you should all know that all Reggae Girls made history by becoming the first female Caribbean team to qualify. And of course, we are sending them away in style. Watch this.
Jamaica's going to the World Cup. They celebrate in the corner. They make all 4 penalties. Congratulations, Jamaica.
October 17, 2018, the day our senior Reggae Girls football team created history by becoming the first Jamaican and Caribbean team to qualify for the FIFA Women's World Cup. In honor of the girls' rare feat, the government of Jamaica rolled out 4 days of grand celebration ahead of France 2019. The official celebratory activities kicked off on Saturday, December 15, but the tribute started a day early when the overseas-based team members landed at the Norman Manley International Airport in Kingston.
I feel really honored. I know everyone else feels honored. It feels so good to be celebrated, but I mean, we were just doing what we needed to do and we got it done. So it just feels really good that everyone else believes in us and wants to celebrate with us.
The celebration picked up momentum in the next few days.
I join every sport-loving Jamaican, and more so those who are lovers of football, in wishing the Reggae Girls all the best in their preparation. Montego Bay is 100% behind you girls.
The country's premier University of Physical Activity and Sport was only too happy to host the next leg of the victory party.
You can come to GC Foster College because we're doing all the supporting areas. We have some of the best physical therapists in Jamaica. Every single one of our most prominent Olympians since 2008, their massage therapists have been trained at GC Foster College.
Thanks to you guys for putting the time in the curriculum and allowing us to kind of understand that it's here. You know, we can bring our athletes here, we can train here, and feel confident doing that. So thank you.
The motorcade across Montego Bay, St. Catherine, Kingston and St. Andrew drew many fans and admirers.
Give me an R! Give me an E! Give me a T! Give me another T! football side and the biggest football side in the world. Listen to this. Reggae girls. Reggae girls. Everybody else say reggae girls. What we say? Whoa.
Final stop for the day was the Hype Zone in the community of Arnett Gardens, the home of two of the players.
I think that we're on the right track in relation to acknowledging the girls' achievement, making them feel special, making the people of Jamaica know who they are, and also ensuring that we do things to inspire them and to motivate them to greater heights.
Day 2 kicked off with an engaging meet and greet session with members of the press. That was followed by an empowering praise, worship and Thanksgiving concert at Emancipation Park.
And I want you to stretch one towards them for me. And I declare God will anoint them. To do the right practice. To watch the right replays and the right matches and the right everything. And I declare victory. Victory! Victory! Say! Victory! Victory! Say! Victory! 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 Hold it. Say we done win already. Done win already. Done winner. Say done win already. Done win already. Done. Say.
Victory reigned on the girls the very next day as they were given keys to the city of Spanish Town, St. Anne, and Kingston and St. Andrew.
I know you will enter the World Cup believing that you can win it. And wheresoever that takes you, we will be proud of you, and I'm sure you'll be proud of yourself.
The Honorable Robert Mr. Marley was born on the 6th of February, 1945.
Other events included a visit to the Bob Marley Museum, an inspiring trip to the Women's Center of Jamaica, and courtesy calls with the Mayor of Kingston, Leader of the Opposition Dr. Peter Phillips, and Governor General Sir Patrick Allen and his wife, Lady Allen.
We're very proud to make this certificate of recognition presented to the Jamaica's national women's football team.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness fittingly brought the day to a close with a reception at the Pegasus Hotel.
Just being among you tonight, I get a very good feeling, a good sense that you're going to do well in this competition. I get a sense that you could win.
From day one, the starting of the celebration, the Jamaicans that came out, the support was tremendous, and we're just happy to be here.
Thank you guys for coming out tonight to support the girls. They need the support now more than ever, and we're just going to have to continue to strike hard.
As the final day of celebrations arrived, the girls were treated to a fun yet relaxing trip to the North Coast. After such outpouring of love and gratitude, the girls are clear that they feel empowered and motivated to represent our island home at the Women's World Cup Finals. Mark your calendars. France 2019, June 7 to July 7.
Go girls, make us proud. Reggae girls.
Plummer, and I am the captain for the Reggae Girls, and we just want to thank you for your support, and we hope that you continue in supporting us along our journey. Bye, we love you guys.
And just like that, we have arrived at the end of today's program. Thanks for staying with us. If you enjoyed today's show and want to watch it all again, simply visit our website, jis.gov.jm, or our YouTube page. You may also visit us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. I'm Sandra. Walk good.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.